This is ASCAR, the fastest and most spectacular saloon car racing series in Europe. In this program, we'll be bringing you highlights from the 2002 season, including some incredible racing, action-packed pit stops, and plenty of thrills and spills. All the ASCAR action takes place on Europe's two American-style banked oval tracks, with the series starting at the 1.5-mile Rockingham circuit in England. Paul Mazel takes up the story.
It's the Goodyear 100, round one of the ASCAR Championship of 2002 gets underway, and a cracking start from Hodgson back on the inside of the second row. This is a fascinating scrap at the head of the field. Stevie Hodgson gets the power down, he moves to the inside, he's got the inside line going down to turn one. Surely this is going to be the move for Hodgson. Will he take the lead? No, he won't. Manning crosses in front of him almost, but to be fair, gave him the racing room that Hodgson might have desired. That's the office of John Mickle. Just look how smooth everything is there. Feeds the power in, almost turning the car right as he comes out of turn one, then feeds it back in through that ever-sweeping turn two. Quick glimpse there of Nicholas Minassian. He's got onto the rear end of that battle. It's now a three-car battle for the lead. They are a little bit spread out, but less than a second separates them, and the back marker spins. Peter Storm smashes into the wall in the 48 Torque-Speed Deuce car. Oh, that's a disaster for Peter Storm. A very heavy hit there on the inside retaining wall that marks the pit lane. Just lost it. Yeah, that's not a surprise. Well, let's have a look again. You can see there the car already through 360 degrees and bang into the wall. Nothing at all that Peter Storm could do about that. Darren Manning is continuing to be hounded by young Stevie Hodgson, and Hodgson this time riding up onto the rear end of Darren Manning, and on lap 23 this could be the chance. Hodgson has the inside line. Manning will have no response, I'm sure of that, and Hodgson slots on through, and Nicholas Minassian in the RML brightly lime green livery car tries to follow through but can't capitalise, and so with 23 laps completed we have a new race leader. Stevie Hodgson, who's worked so hard behind that orange machine, gets his way through, and now look at him go, starting to stretch his legs. Or has Manning got a problem? Well, Minassian looking to the inside, just sneaks a peek into turn three. Let's just look at that again. There is Hodgson on the inside. Darren Manning, to be absolutely fair, giving him the room, well, on this occasion anyway, and Hodgson leads. Well, it's been a fine performance by Darren Manning. He drops back and loses another spot though. Here up ahead we see Colin White also getting past Darren Manning, so his tyres must be going away from him. Oh, and he chops across the front end of John Mickle. Mickle won't be best pleased with that. This the view though from Jason Plato as we come into turn four. Race order, Hodgson, Minassian, and dropping back further as Colin White also goes through. The low car on the track there is the 58 car of Tom Gwinchard. Gwinchard keeping down low, that's just as he's supposed to be, but that's unsettled the rhythm from John Mickle, and Jason Plato capitalises, gets to the inside of the 24 car and moves himself up into 5th place. Well, Jason's already said that there's a huge amount to learn about this oval racing, but he's capitalising here, doing a great job down on the inside, through the inside of the reigning ASCAR champion, John Mickle. 28 laps completed and we are into the mandatory pit stop window. Each driver must change 2 tyres between laps 28 and 32. Only 3 crew allowed over the wall. There's the rear tyre changer, the front tyre changer, full enough at the front end. And a Jackman, that's a fairly, well, reasonable stop you would say from Nicholas Minassian. Tom Gwinchard's crew working on his tyre change, and the Torque-Speed crew jumping over the wall. Front tyre changer Craig Slater. Alan Mickle, John's brother, is the rear tyre changer with Roger Scotland on jack, and there is the Hodgson crew again getting to work. Well, furious activity, wheel nuts flying absolutely everywhere. A big sideways moment from Mickle as he leads, and Darren Manning, who was the first man to put a 150-mile-an-hour lap on this Rockingham track during qualifying yesterday, is in and still there actually from his tyre change. Meanwhile, teammate Jason Plato makes his way out, and side by side with Anthony Swan. So new race leader Colin White's team have performed a blistering pit stop to put the 78 car out front. John Mickle is up to second. Oh, we got yellows, yellow flags. Well, we've got a huge incident, in fact, down at turn 4. That's Darren Manning's car that is in the wall. Oh, a huge moment for Darren Manning, and the 67 car looking very sorry indeed. This is what happened. Into turn 4. Car snapping sideways on him. Looks like something may have broken in the back end there, but look how far that car travelled as the brake disc shatters onto the track. Here we are then, back for the restart for the Goodyear 100. Oh, and Colin White moves right the way across the front end of John Mickle. White trying to protect the outside line. Mickle can go around the outside because it's now a 4-lap shootout to the checkered flag. John Mickle won the opening round of the ASCAR 2001 championship, but he's got some work to do now if he's to catch Colin White, who is really being impressive today. Got the car superbly set up, have his crew and team. Nicholas Manassian trying to battle his way past Mark Proctor, who likewise has been on the pace but not had the good fortune that perhaps he deserves. And Manassian to the inside. That's the third place seal, you would think, for Manassian. But what can John Mickle do about Colin White? Both of these two with a history in short oval tracks, both in the UK and Europe. Stevie Hodgson trying to battle his way past Paul Evans in the 11 car. Kelvin Burt back there too, but let's just check the restart. Here is Colin White ahead. Oh, and just moves right across to protect that outside line. Nearly caught John Mickle, and Mickle snatching through the gearbox to try and calm the 24 car down. Well, unbelievable stuff into turn 4, and look at this. John Mickle literally pushing the 78 car around that turn 4. No contact, it would seem, between the two. That's the view from Roland Rayfelt as he gets to the inside of Toby Schechter in the 84. Schechter and Rayfelt wheel to wheel, the South African and the German. Underneath the gantry, the white flag is shown, just 1 lap to go, and Schechter around the outside through turn 1. Oh, brilliant stuff on this final lap. Here comes John Mickle, the last roll of the dice. Will it be 78? Will it be 24? It's between these two for opening honours. Down the long straight they come. Mickle looks to the inside, it's the final run. Oh, we've got a spinner in turn 1. Phil Weaver has spun through turn 1. That's going to be yellow and checkered flags at the same time, and the victory goes to Colin White. Oh, brilliant stuff for the Goodyear 100.
So let's take a look at the results for the first race of the season. It's the experienced oval track racers out in front, but the new boys have made a solid start and will continue challenging. Let's hear from our race winner, Colin White.
Yeah, it's brilliant. After all the years of running short circuit, it just proves that you can learn your ground there and come and show how to overtake them in the main race.
Colin explaining there how he learned his racecraft on the short ovals. He's not intimidated by the big-name stars who've joined the series. It's time for round 2 action.
And for that second race, they lined up in the order of the result of race 1. And put Colin White on pole position with John Mickle on the outside front row. Behind them, Manassian and Hodgson. At the green flag, White and Mickle got away well, but not as well as the Frenchman who made a bolt for the gap left by White as he moved over to fend off John Mickle's outside pass. It was a masterly piece of anticipation from Manassian, and he swept through to lead. Mickle seemed to falter through turn 1, but then gathered things together and tucked in behind Colin White, with Anthony Swan, then Stevie Hodgson and Jason Plato side by side disputing 6th place. Hodgson took the position as they thundered towards turn 4, while ahead, Swan was lining up Mickle and Hodgson latched onto the rear of the 28 car. Just 4 lengths back, Kelvin Burt had passed Plato and was in a squabble with Paul Evans. The top-speed car of Mickle appeared to have problems as it dropped back through the field. It was a frustrating time for the defending champion as he watched the cars sweep on by. The next pair through were Anthony Swan in 28 and Stevie Hodgson in 6th. Hodgson well on the pace yet again, and Kelvin Burt also swept by, just as Mickle nudged himself out of the way. Anthony Swan's Westech car seemed to shed a section of exhaust manifold on turn 4 to bring out the yellows, but it was good news for those behind Manassian as the whole of the field closed up behind the Frenchman in the 8 car. Toby Schechter took advantage and came in to fix a problem with his radio, but at the restart on lap 7, Manassian led the pack through turn 1, while Stevie Hodgson set about getting around the outside of Anthony Swan. The move paid off for the Yorkshireman, and he slotted into third behind Colin White, with Kelvin Burt in the second RML car storming through to fourth. With Malassian still leading on lap 15, the yellows would fly one more time after Tom Guinchard smashed into the wall on turn 4. During the caution period, Plato came into the pits after reports from spotters of a suspected oil leak. And Mickle also pitted to change 2 outside tyres in a bid to resolve problems with his badly handling car. Both lost a lap on the leader. And that leader was Nicholas Minassian, who retained the lead at the restart on lap 23. But Hodgson made it clear he wanted that second place from Colin White. Kelvin Burt, Anthony Swan, Paul Evans and Rob Speake all had a grandstand view as they charged on in the group close behind. Stevie Hodgson and Colin White have both won countless championships on the short ovals in the UK and Europe. So it was only a matter of time before they paid homage to their roots and showed what oval racing is all about. They fought door to door on the banked oval at speeds of up to 175 miles per hour. It was also proof that the Rockingham track does have both a high and a low groove. There was absolutely nothing between these two, quite literally. On the run to turn 4, it looked as though Hodgson, on the low side, had advantage, but then Colin White didn't have to tighten his car so much through the corner, and Hodgson lost out and dropped back momentarily. Into turn 1 on lap 25 though, Colin White just ran that bit too wide, and Hodgson grabbed second for himself. Colin White retook second from Hodgson into turn 2 on lap 34, but Minassian continued to charge on. And despite a further caution on lap 42 after Anthony Swan pulled off with a bare exhaust burning through his wiring loom, Minassian was never to be headed. It was a great moment for the Frenchman and produced his and RML's first ever ASCAR victory.
Hell of a race, I really enjoyed that. I mean, when you're in the front, you always enjoy it, I think, you know. But the last run was really hard because they was really behind me, pushing me really hard, and it was very exciting.
So let's take a look at the points table after round 2. With 175 points for a win, 170 for second, and so on in ASCAR, it's all very tight. First race winner Colin White just heads the table. A fantastic start then at Rockingham, but it's just an appetizer for the action the crowds will see during the rest of the season. Euro Speedway Lausitz is the other circuit visited by ASCAR this year. It's in the former East Germany between Berlin and Dresden. Unlike Rockingham, Euro Speedway is a tri-oval, and it's also longer, 2.2 miles compared to 1.5, so the speeds are going to be even higher. This multi-million-dollar facility is impressive, but it's the racing that counts.
Here we go then, the green flag is in hand and away we go, and the power kicks in and they get those rear wheels. The traction is down from those Goodyear tyres, thundering under the bridge. They go, what a tremendous start from Roland Rayfeld down the inside. It's 5 wide into turn 1. Oh my word, hold your breath because this could get very ugly. Round the outside goes Jason Plato, moves up into third and now challenges Kelvin Burt. But I think, Rob, there was contact there between the two RML teammates.
Yeah, Paul, there certainly was. Talk about a fantastic start. I can't believe how many cars you can get. Look at this up on the inside there. That looks like Nicholas Minassian is going to go into the lead. Yes, not into the lead, but pushing Kelvin Burt out of position there.
Yeah, Stevie Hodgson's made that breakaway, so we've got a great scrap going on for second place. Jason Plato's taken the high line, and that's going to drop him back. But again, Nicholas Minassian got to the inside of Kelvin Burt. The spotter will be shouting, car outside, and those two, a little bit of a tangle. Fortunately, not getting into any trouble, but what a start from the local man from Berlin. Roland Rayfeld there in the Texaco hooded car. Let's just take a look though, Rob, at the start again.
Yeah, we're on board here with Nicholas Minassian. It's right up the inside of Colin White there on the inside. The 7 car, Kelvin Burt, his teammate. They're going to try and go through the corner like teammates, or are they? Oh, and he just touches Kelvin Burt's car there, more than touches it, Paul. That was a serious knock.
How on earth Kelvin Burt managed to save it, that is beyond me. This is the view back from Colin White's car. You see Nicholas Minassian up the inside, but look at Roland Rayfeld on the inside of Darren Manning, and they're 5 wide behind Colin White. Awesome stuff from these ASCAR drivers. What talent we have got in the ranks all the way down through the field, and Rayfelt gets the inside as Mikkel tries to come across as well.
Yeah, good move here by Rayfelt. I thought Manassian was doing a good job to squeeze up the inside, but look at this. Absolutely no room here. The German driver wants to impress so much. Just tucked in behind Colin White here. That was an aggressive move. Great move. Oh, and this is the 7 car, the 2 RML cars. Kelvin Burt knocks Nicholas Manassian. Jason Plato takes advantage as well. Talk about aggressive moves.
My, oh my, we saw a few weeks ago in Formula One that there are team orders there. No team orders in ASCAR. All of that taking place at 185 mile an hour or thereabouts. They're side by side. Plato gets through into second place behind Stevie Hodgson. My, oh my, there'll be words exchanged in the garage about that, Rob, surely.
No question about that, because Burt's move put Manassian out, gave Plato the advantage, and then he slides past Burt as well. Great moves here in this ASCAR race.
Great action all the way through the field. These top 6 absolutely battling it out, hammer and tongs. Here it is again. Watch for the puff of smoke. There it is, a little donut tire mark put on the side of Nick Manassian's car. Plato sees that, takes advantage, dives out the inside, second place. Thank you very much.
I love this aspect of ASCAR racing. Just 3 guys over the wall. It's such an important part of the whole race. None of these kind of high-tech jacks. They just jack the thing up. They got to change wheels and see Darren Manning going for pit service also.
Yeah, they'll all be in now. They've got a 2-lap pit window in which every car must come into the pit lane and change those 2 outside wheels, and a problem on the rear of Kelvin Burt's car. Well, disaster for them. That's going to slow them up. A good stop, though, by John Bincliffe's outfit. Darren Manning gets away in the 67. Here come the CWST. Here comes the race leader on pit road. He may have just got bought there. Leo Keefe coming in as well. There is a pit line where the pit lane starts. 60 kilometers an hour is the speed, but there's Jason Plato leaves and may well take the lead now.
Yeah, I think he might do it. Important to understand, Stevie Hodgson was doing the right thing there. He's allowed to overtake the outside of that car until he comes to that line, as you pointed out, Paul.
Phil Weaver leads. Here comes Hodgson then. Got Scott Newton there. Comes out with the jack. We'll get that underneath the car. All change under there. Front wheel off. Well, meanwhile, there's Jason Plato. Hodgson leaves. Look at that. The pit outboard shows that Hodgson gets out in the lead just ahead of Nicholas Manassian. I say just ahead because up into turn 2 they go. Manassian to the inside. Oh, there's contact there. The lead battle is furious. And I'll tell you one driver who will be furious. Stevie Hodgson gets ridden right up the racetrack, but I don't think that was an unfair manoeuvre by Manassian.
I'll tell you what, he was very aggressive indeed, but there was plenty of racetrack there. He was up the inside of him, and I think maybe Stevie Hodgson was just trying to hang around the outside, as you would do. Just got himself a little bit wide. They touched, and wow, he's lost a lot of momentum here, Paul.
He's almost into the clutches there, isn't he? Behind him of Jason Plato's lining up an Uber. I think the problem was, let's take a look at it again. Hodgson's just come out of the pit lane entrance, or exit rather. Manassian with a strong run. He's going at about 183, 185 through there. Contact, and that sends Hodgson, look at that, a big wiggle even as he goes up the racetrack. Well, all action. Here goes Hodgson down to the inside, though. He's not to be undone by Nicholas Manassian. We saw that manoeuvre where Manassian got to the inside of Hodgson. This time, Jason Plato tries to get to the inside of Stevie Hodgson. Just lap after lap, they've been battling it out side by side. Tremendous action, and bearing in mind the speeds that they're doing along these long straights, and there down the inside goes Plato. He's made the manoeuvre stick through turn 3, and as this time they'll complete another lap with Leo Keefe out front there in the white and blue car. Manassian now has Plato soaring back and forth behind him in second spot.
Yeah, Manassian's looking strong, but Plato, as I said, is the man on the move, and some good racing here between him and Hodgson. Hodgson gave him a little bit of room, and Plato is really pushing hard. Gets his car down a little bit too low on the inside. You could see that thing wiggle around here. Hodgson's coming back on him, though, here, Paul. Look at this, using the full width of the racetrack and everything.
Jason Plato doing? He moves from the outside of the track to the inside. Hodgson will be down to that garage. He's going to lay him on his back, I promise you. That was an outrageous manoeuvre from Jason Plato. Let's just have a look at it again, Rob.
Yeah, I tell you what, Hodgson is a man who I would not want to mess with outside a race car, but I think Jason Plato, as you say, might be having a little bit of word here from Stevie Hodgson. I mean, that was some seriously aggressive stuff. Too aggressive, really.
Puts him on the grass. I mean, we know ASCAR's turn left, but that's an outright T-junction manoeuvre there from Jason Plato.
Colin White making a move now, winner of the first round at Rockingham, and he is really doing well here, coming on strong right at the end, as we've come to expect from him.
Got that car fantastically set up for the final stage of this race. He moves up into third spot. Colin White is definitely the man on the move. He's got his front nose cone, right underneath the rear bumper there of Jason Plato's 76 car. Up the inside he goes. Surely he's carried great speed through turn 1. It's the most difficult corner on the circuit, the driver's tell us, but he's side by side as they go down to 2. Colin White will surely grab the second spot.
Yeah, fantastic move by Colin White. Now that is a short track oval driver extraordinaire, showing us how he's really developing on these high-speed ovals now. British Touring Car champion just tucked in behind him, but the man right now in that 78 car who knows how to go around ovals, Colin White.
Well, let's see him to the inside he goes. Here goes Colin White, and he's going to take the lead surely. Oh, brilliant stuff from Colin White. Takes the race lead here, and an absolutely fantastic manoeuvre.
Colin White takes the checkered flag. The number 78 CWS machine takes victory yet again, Paul.
He took the win in the opening round. He does it here again in Germany, and not unsurprisingly, the CWS crew absolutely thrilled to bits with that. Another fine pit stop from them, but they set that car up, Rob, superbly to get him really strong in the closing stages of the race.
So, Colin White takes his second victory, with Nicholas Manassian again his closest challenger. Jason Plato claims his first ASCAR podium. But let's hear from our race winner.
On lap 13, this is pretty unlucky. I'm back in 4th place. I've got to do something here, and just edged away and sort of got there and used some of the short circuit experience on the inside.
A look at the points table shows it's oval track experience which counts at the moment. But rookies Kelvin Burt and Jason Plato have had good finishes and are both ahead of defending champion John Mickle. Unfortunately, heavy rain put paid to any further racing on the series' first weekend at Euro Speedway. But an impromptu football match in the pit lane provided the teams and fans with some entertainment. ASCAR moved back to Rockingham for round 4, where the latest oval track rookie was waiting to join the series. With the grid based on the results from Euro Speedway, McLaren F1 test driver Darren Turner will be starting from the back of the grid. Let's join Paul Mazel.
Ready to rumble, the engine note rising on these mighty V8 ASCARs as the green flag is in hand, and there it goes. We are green, green, green for a start. Oh, there's contact on the start-finish line. Stevie Hodgson jacks up the back end of Nicholas Manassian's car. The Frenchman will wonder what on earth is going on, but it's a good clean start, and Hodgson round the outside tries to go for third spot.
Yeah, that was a great start, Paul. Very, very aggressive at the start. Look at this Manassian around the outside of Colin White straight away, is he? Yes, a good move by the RML driver there, as he is, or is he taking the spot? Yes, he is.
He nearly drove through the side of that new bodywork that Colin White's carrying. Remember, they've lined up on the grid based upon the result from Germany. This a substitute race for that. We're 3 wide through turn 4. Toby Schechter on the inside in the middle of all that lot. But here comes Mickle in the 24 car, back on song now, and he's to the inside of Hodgson and takes away the third spot from the Yorkshireman. This the replay of the start, and watch this. Stevie Hodgson, Rob, knocks the back end out of Nicholas Manassian's car. That will have given the Frenchman more than a shaken stir.
There was no pause there, Paul Mazel. I'm sorry to interrupt you. The back of Manassian's car there. That's great to see. Look at that. Stevie Hodgson smacking into the back of the Frenchman. Very good indeed.
Well, he backed him up there, jacked him right up into the air. Manassian must have wondered what was going on. And talk about great starts. The 69 car of Darren Turner, McLaren Formula 1 test driver he is. He's also first time out in an ASCAR, and he is stonking through the field at the moment. There is the man on the move, Darren Turner. We've completed 8 laps.
Yeah, we sure have. What Manassian is looking so strong. White has won races, but these guys are hunting them down big time. Look at this. This is a move by Rayfeld. He had a bad run in Germany, and look at this. This is a nice move. Darren Turner taking advantage, and both of them go by Schechter.
He didn't have a bad run. He ran out of fuel. That was the problem. Here is Rayfeld then, leading Darren Turner. Darren Turner on the move, and here goes another man on the move. Mickle to the inside of Colin White, and John Mickle will take away second place. Nicholas Manassian, though, is stretching it away, but look at this battle for second, third, and fourth.
Yeah, this is a good battle. We know John Mickle is your man that you like to follow a little bit here. Oh, look at the 7 car nearly getting up the inside of him. Mickle, to be fair, is having a pretty good run this weekend, but a long, long way to go here, Paul Mazel.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. White and Burt fighting it out. Back in the pack, we've got the 2 teammates from Bincliffe going at each other as well. Darren Manning is the car ahead of us in the newly liveried RAC machine. Oh, Plato nearly runs him over. Oh, he's knocked the onboard camera out as well into full measure.
Wow, Plato, very, very aggressive there. Don't know what happened with Manning's car, and it looks like, oh, look at this. We've got Colin White defending, Stevie Hodgson tucked right in behind him. And this, just look at the two cars in the top of your picture. Oh, Colin White. Mazel, what's going on here?
He's lost a place. He's gone backwards, Colin White. Dropped back another spot. Here goes Stevie Hodgson. The freight train is a-coming, Colin White, and you better stop off at the next station.
Yeah, Colin White is moving backwards, but this is where I think we're going to see some action. He might as well have a target on the back of his car because Plato wants him big time.
Peter Storm, the 48 car, running low down on the track, trying to keep out the way, and that produces an opportunity. Darren Turner's car is turning in like a car I've never seen before. He's got so much front-end grip. It's unbelievable.
How can you tell that from here? It looks like a good race car, no doubt about it. It's very fast. Front-end grip, rear-end grip, he's got everything. But look at this, Darren Turner. This McLaren Formula One test driver slides past the defending British Touring Car Champion like he's standing still.
Fair play to the HTML team. Jonathan Haynes heads that up. They've worked really hard in testing and in practice here at Rockingham. They've made minor adjustments. Brought Darren in, made a change. Brought him in, made a change. He's got quicker and quicker, and he's scything through the field like the proverbial knife through the butter. We're watching the hunt and battle between... Oh, and they get a little bit around the outside of Peter Storm there, who's the meat in the sandwich.
Round in they do, and look at this. Colin White is going to take the position, more than take the position. He fell into the wall. A very, very heavy impact. That is a nasty accident, Paul Mazel. He has hit the wall extremely hard indeed. Very concerning, very concerning.
Well, he's moving around in the car. That is the good news. A wheel goes flying around. Bouncing down the track. The cars will need to... Oh, it's on fire! We need to get marshals there. Fire on that race car. That Mongoose Pontiac is looking very, very second-hand. But look at that, Rob. Roland Rayfeld walks away.
That's got to be... That's probably something like a 10G impact, Paul, I would reckon. That is a very, very serious impact with that wall indeed. Look at the state of that racing car. He's lucky to come out of that.
Well, let's take a look again. Roland Rayfeld hits the wall at 165 miles an hour. Colin White to the inside. Rayfeld came down the track. Rayfeld came down the track. Well, big impact. Slides around. Look at the sparks fly.
Yeah, well, it looked like Colin White was up the inside. It was just, it's down to spotters here, Paul. Rayfeld's spotters should have been talking to him here, and he just comes down on the 78 machine, and bang. That is a very, very lucky boy indeed. We're going green flag racing here at Rockingham.
We are again, and look at Stevie Hodgson. He jumps to the inside of Kelvin Byrne. They'll be double wide through turn one. Get ready to pick up the pieces. Hodgson to the inside, but look at the start. Manassian.
Yeah, Manassian, fantastic run. And look at this, Stevie Hodgson doing pretty good. And John Mickle has made a disastrous restart here. He was disastrous at the first start. And look at this. He's getting everybody swamping by him. Hodgson, look at that up the inside. It's going to be the number 7 machine of Kelvin Burt.
And look who's lurking around there too. Darren Turner in the white 69 car as Kelvin Burt gets into the side of Mickle and grabs away the position. So we've now got John Mickle, who started second, has plummeted back to 4th, and Hodgson goes for the lead. He takes it
Hodgson
away.
has got a good racing car under him right now, and he's so aggressive at the start there. I thought Manassian had it, but look at Hodgson getting on here.
We had, in the space of 2 corners, Rob, 7 changes for position.
Oh, look at this, and again, Manassian is losing spots now. He had a good start. There's something wrong with the Frenchman's car, because he was so quick at the start, and now he's doing a Mickle. He's going backwards. Look at this. John Mickle is getting some revenge back here up the inside of Kelvin Burt. A great move when he gets that thing running.
John Mickle, and they're going to be 3 wide into turn 2. Hold on to your tissues. This could end in tears. Darren Turner goes and snatches away 2 spots. John Mickle thought he'd done the business there in turn 1. What a move by him. The move of the race for me, but look at that from Turner. Mickle makes the move of the race, and then Turner usurps him. Take a look at that awesome 3 wide manoeuvre down into turn 2. Look at Darren Turner. His car's on rails to the inside of Mickle. Burt jumps out of it like a scared pussycat from a tree.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Turner has hunted down Hodgson.
He has done. The 69 machine is in behind the number 6 machine. And, last year, John Mickle, defending champion in ASCAR. I think he had... Oh, look at that! Stevie Hodgson hits the wall trying to stay ahead of Turner. They both go round Peter Storm, who's running very slow indeed. I cannot believe that he managed to keep going, and John Mickle is taking advantage. Look at this.
I know some of you haven't seen racing where we have 3 cars covered by a tissue racing for the lead, but here we have it in ASCAR. 46 laps they've completed, and we've got 3 cars there fighting out for the lead, and Kelvin Burt comes to join the party too.
Oh, look at that. I reckon Stevie Hodgson's car is better. Look at this, the 69 car going into the lead. Yes, it does. Hodgson's car is loose. The 24 car is diving in there, and Hodgson is in some big trouble after hitting that wall, Paul.
He's gone backwards, hasn't he? We have another race leader, Darren Turner, and here's how it happened. To the inside, Darren Turner, side by side, double wide with Stevie Hodgson. The 6 car has no response, and look at the 24 comes sliding through as well, followed incidentally because of this maneuver. Look at that.
What is going on here? I don't know. He's got some kind of problem there, no doubt about it.
The checkered flag in hand, Turner will take the victory on his debut in ASCAR. It's a fine second place for John Mickle and Kelvin Burt third.
Everyone else seemed to be struggling with understeer and really struggling on the exit, and the car was a bit nervous going in, and then after that I could just put the power down and get them on the exit. But it's great to be back. It's been a long time. 98 was the last time I had a race win, so I'm going to savour this. It's really nice. I'm really happy.
He may be happy, but Turner doesn't feature yet in the top 10 of the point standings. There's a change at the top, though. We have a new leader with Nicholas Manassian taking over from Colin White. Midsummer in the Brandenburg region of Germany, and ASCAR is back for another visit to the Eurospeedway Lausitz, where the crowds have turned out in their thousands. Let's join Paul Mazel.
And we are green here. The 5th round of the ASCAR Championship underway. Mickle and Turner side by side. Jumping out from behind to the inside there is Jason Plato. And looks as though Plato will go through on the inside as Mickle goes backwards.
Oh, yeah, that was a very, very aggressive move by Plato up the inside here. He wants, just look at this, Turner, Manning, both the Darrens. And look at this, the 24 car coming up good on the inside.
4 wide, they're trying to make it down the stretch between turns 1 and 2. Hold your breath, we could be in for fireworks here. And then 2
look at that, Turner
through.
again getting up, starting. Whoa, Turner just really trying to be aggressive here. I mean, you wouldn't think this is going to be an hour-long race, but they're all trying to win it at the first corner.
The Bincliffe boys, Plato in the black 76 and Darren Manning on the outside in the 67 car, make the breakthrough from the second row of the grid. John Mickle comes through to third. Darren Turner from pole position dumped back to 4th.
So another poor start for Turner, but he soon overtakes Mickle into turn number 1. And he puts the same move on Jason Plato to snatch 2nd place. Stevie Hodgson was on the grass last time we were here, and this time he was in the wall. Coming out of turn 2, he just gets up onto the loose and tags the wall, but he wasn't the only one. As this onboard camera reveals, Darren Turner also brushes the same part of the wall on that lap. That big sticker rub doesn't seem to affect Turner, though. He's soon passing Darren Manning at his favorite, turn number 1. It was a miserable weekend for championship leader Nicholas Manassian. He qualified poorly and was out before half distance due to engine problems. But Stevie Hodgson was soon in trouble again, as the side of his car proves. This time it's turn 1, a suspected slow puncture, and the car just understeers off the corner and bam, he's into the wall. Take a look at the top right of the shot to see the full extent of the impact. And with his efforts to get back to the pits, Stevie takes an unscheduled lap of the infield circuit here at Eurospeedway. Once back in the garage, it's clear that this was a big hit. Another car in trouble is the 24 machine of John Mickle. He's been into the wall at turn number 3, remodeling the rear end of his car. A poor pit stop from Turner drops him back to 6. But he's soon going around the outside at turn 1 to move up. Then it's down the inside at the start-finish straight to set up a great move on Darren Manning. And just as Turner's looking to take the lead from Colin White, Anthony Swan has a big crash into the turn 3 wall. Thankfully, Swan was unhurt. But this footage from Jason Plato's onboard shows how he gave Swan the unwanted tap on the rear end, which sent him into the wall. It certainly had the German crowd on its feet. Its normal service resumed after the restart as Darren Turner sets up an awesome move on Colin White and charges past to take the lead. Try as he might, though, the CWS 78 car can do nothing to hold back the HTML Pontiac. And Beatcliff teammates Darren Manning and Jason Plato battle it out for second in the closing stages. But as Turner took the checkered flag, it's Manning who held on for his best result of the year so far. Fourth place for White, and that retirement from Manassian put White back on top of the points. Stevie Hodgson's crash allows Burt and Plato to move ahead of him. The Eurospeedway promoters called the race the German Revenge, but it was a clean sweep of podium for the Brits. As the drivers lined up for round 6, there were differing fortunes for those involved in the round 5 incidents. Anthony Swan's 28 car was too badly damaged for him to continue. But an all-nighter from the Torque Speed crew allowed John Mickle to get back in the action. Away from the battle for the podium places, one of the highlights at Eurospeedway was the lap-after-lap continuous battle between Mark Proctor in the 12 car and local hero Roland Rayfeld, now in the 96 machine. At the front of the field, Darren Turner again started slowly, but was past Darren Manning leading up to the pit stops. Jason Plato also made it past his teammate with this move at turn number 1. Another poor pit stop put Turner back behind Plato, Manning, and Mickle, who was now charging hard in his repaired car. He moved up into second place with this move on the 67 car at turn number 2. But he held off the Yorkshireman's attempt to retake the place. Darren Turner was soon past Manning for third. He came up behind Mickle just as Mickle caught the leader, Jason Plato, at turn 2. Darren Turner demonstrated his immense racing skills. He clearly had a plan to take advantage of the battling 76 and 24 cars as they slowed in the middle of the corner. Turner carried out his plan to perfection with this audacious 3-wide move into turn number 2, leaving Mickle taking second place as poor Plato gets dumped down to third. Plato wasn't going to give up his podium place to Mickle without a fight. The battle continued all the way down to turn 1, and all this with only 2/3 of race distance completed. The replay shows just how far back Turner was at the entry to the corner, but as Plato and Mickle drift just a fraction wide, Turner holds the inside and is passed on the run down to turn 3, and a lead he would hold until the checkered flag. 3 in a row then for Turner, and he celebrates with some tire-smoking donuts. But what about that move?
I knew that they're going to probably have a bit of a scrap because John looked really quick and Jason was slowing down and having problems, so I thought I'd just hang behind because I'm sure they'll slow each other down, but I didn't expect it as soon as that, and if there's an opportunity, I'll take it.
Points after round 6 in the championship. Jason Plato moves up to second and Mickle to 5th, but it's still Colin White at the top. Round 7 didn't start well for Turner. He was in the pits after the start with clutch problems, probably caused by those celebratory donuts. As the HTML boys get to work, the rest of the field are making their way towards the line. Let's join Paul for the start of the race.
Green, 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 and does Jason Plato get the power down? Yes, he does, but Mickle moves across to block the line. Darren Manning in the blue car in row 2, but Mickle's got a stormer.
Oh, that is a fantastic start from John Mickle. Just look at that, really tucked it behind him. Darren Manning gets in behind his teammate, Jason Plato. Mickle taking great advantage of the HTML car being out of this race.
Oh, but the HTML car will rejoin, so Darren Turner back in this race. Maybe he can score some points from there, but out front and side by side, a change for position on the track. Darren Manning will go through in the RAC Auto Windscreens car, the 67 car there, and Colin White makes a move on Jason Plato too.
Yeah, he does indeed, and they've had had some track action before those two, but right now, and look at this, Colin White coming up the inside of Plato again. The two Big Cliff cars were running strong. Remember, on cold tires, though. Takes a little while. Oh, and Kelvin Burt goes through.
Kelvin Burt took no prisoners there, Rob. He saw the opportunity. Oh, big crash in the background. Stevie Hodgson spins in the 6 car.
75 car pole. That was John Stewart. It went into the wall. Very, very hard indeed. Very concerning. That was a heavy, heavy impact indeed. Thankfully, John Stewart was unhurt in that crash, and as the replay shows, he spun on his own, causing Stevie Hodgson to spin in avoidance. When the race restarted, Roland Rayfeld was a man on the move, thrilling the local crowd with this pass of the RML cars of Manassian and Burt. But out in front, Big Cliff driver Darren Manning had closed the gap to John Mickle in the Torque Speed 24 and went past on the approach into turn number 1. Storm clouds were rapidly approaching the Euro Speedway, threatening the racing action. Manning's teammate Jason Plato was also keen to make progress. You can see the dark skies and moisture on the windscreen as he lines up the pass of Colin White and moves into 3rd place. These are 1 and 2 in the championship, so remember, every place is important. With 5 points separating every place in the ASCAR point system, each position will be crucial to the final championship victor. Colin White's 78 machine is virtually hidden as he tries to draft the 76 car. Approaching half distance and the all-important pit stops, Colin White resumes his battle against Jason Plato. And as we see from Jason's onboard camera, the rain is beginning to fall much more heavily now, making it impossible to continue racing at these speeds. The dark skies and low light level almost makes this night racing, and the drivers are struggling to see. So the organizers have no choice but to red flag the race on safety grounds. The race result was declared on the last completed lap before the race was stopped. And that means Darren Manning takes his first ASCAR victory, much to the delight of the Big Cliff boys. Of course, John Mickle was very, very disappointed, but what did Darren Manning have to say about victory?
Well, I guess congratulations.
Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, we can't race in this weather, you know. It was just fantastic. We've been making changes to the car all weekend. I decided to slide, then I was enjoying myself. It's easy, this ASCAR racing.
The torrential rain stops the racing, but it can't stop another British clean sweep of the podium. Plato claimed 3rd as Colin White had passed him on the last lap when the red flag was shown. In the championship, Plato closes the gap slightly to White, but another poor race from Manassian sees him slip further back and Mickle rises to 3rd. It was back to Rockingham for round number 8, and a big crowd were there to see the ASCAR debuts of 3 young hotshots. Sports car ace Ian McKellar Jr., F3 star Derek Hayes, and Le Mans driver Kevin McGarity. Let's join Paul as the cars line up for the start.
We're about to go green. The flag is in hand, and it's double greens. Green, green, green. And Darren Manning down the inside of John Mickle. Contact between the two. Manning gets through to the inside, but I don't think he made it to the front row. And it's Nicholas Manassian from the outside of row 1 who takes the lead and opens up as they dive down to turn 2 with all sorts of commotion behind as well. Oh, in the pack. Mark Proctor ahead of us. Tries to get in line. Colin White going hammer and tongs at it with the silver machine of Kevin McGarity. McGarity round the outside of Colin White. And side by side as well, Mark Proctor and Anthony Swan. Awesome stuff. And Darren Turner makes a rubbish start again. How many times have we heard him say it'll be a slow start, he thinks. Part of the reason for that is a way, I think, that Darren looks after those tyres of his.
And after a few laps of conserving his tires, Turner was soon up to full speed, passing the 67 car of Darren Manning. Manning did his best to hold him off, but he couldn't do anything about it. Next in line was John Mickle. He lines up the Torque Speed 24 machine, and he goes through, taking yet another spot. Then, finally, the pink number 7 machine of Kelvin Burt. All these cars in quick succession, leaving just Nicholas Manassian between him and another victory. Let's rejoin Paul Mazel in the commentary.
Darren Turner has hunted down Nicolas Minassian, and the Frenchman is about to become French toast, I think, because Darren Turner will hunt him down as they cross the line. We're into the closing stages. Meanwhile, Mickels refound his pace, or has Calvin Burt dropped back to him? Side by side, these two. Mickle down the inside. Who's got the biggest ones, I wonder? We're about to find out. Calvin Burt, maybe. Or is it Mickle? Mickle sticks it in on there. Double wide on the run down to turn 2. Awesome stuff from ASCAR. Mickle and Burt, great respect for each other, giving each other the room. Calvin Burt staying up there in the high groove. That's no easy task. Equally so, Mickle down on the inside has got to keep that car turning tightly in. So, of course, that makes it slightly slower for him because he's scrubbing off speed. Calvin, though, meanwhile, oh, and there we go. Mickle is through. Third spot for the 24 car. Calvin Burt, though, will try and come back. And meantime, there's a chase for the lead as well. Darren Turner goes inside the 8 car. Thank you very much. That's all for now, folks, as they say in the cartoons. But no cartoon performance here. In fact, quite an animated performance from Darren Turner. The 8 car goes back. Let's just look at that again. He pulls out of the slipstream, comes out of the punched hole of air that Nicolas Minassian is completing on him there. Look, he gets to the low side again through turn 4. Minassian gives him the room. Great respect from these two as well. In fact, I think that's fair all the way through the field. Look at that. Just, if there was a door handle on there, they would have knocked them. Here we see it from riding on board with Darren Turner. See, he backs off there and then gets the power on quicker. Nicholas looks a little bit out of shape there as he squeezes on the power, but Turner, it's all about momentum racing, and, well, the momentum is definitely with HTML and Darren Turner. Another great manoeuvre passed by him. This is what Nicholas saw. Oh no, oh no, oh no. To the inside. And through turn 1, it's bye-bye. This is an awesome drive for Darren Turner. There is the white flag. That means 1 lap to go. It's just under 1 mile now for Darren Turner to go. Nicolas Minassian has closed up in it. We've got back markers ahead as well. Could they come into play as they'll round turn 4 for the final time? Checkered flag is in hand. Nicolas Minassian closing up behind. There are the back markers of Procter and O'Keefe. And Darren Turner will bring it off turn 4. It's another fine victory for the white HTML Pontiac, and an awesome performance from Darren Turner.
That was really hard work. First set of tyres were never had set like that before ever, and it was really hard work, and I thought we were going to lose it a couple of times, and John was behind at one stage and had a big moment, and I really wanted to come in and just change the tyres then, but we had to wait until the pit stop window, and after that the tyres were okay. The second set were just how we should have had them from the beginning, so just had to chase Nicholas down, but God, he's hard work to get past, really hard. I mean, considering how his car looked, he was really travelling really quick.
Another win for Turner, but he still doesn't feature in the top 10. There's no change in the top 2, but Minassian is back up to 3rd. So it was celebrations then for the top 3 as they get acknowledgement from the crowd. And that puts them in the front of the grid for round number 9 in the championship. Darren Turner sprays the champagne, and round 9 started with this spin for Lee O'Keefe. It wasn't good news at the start for Nicolas Minassian either. As we take a look at a replay of the start, it shows him slowing coming out of turn number 1. Keep your eye on that number 8 green car. You'll see a puff of smoke. That is the result of a broken prop shaft. Back in the pits, the Frenchman took a look under the car and explained what happened.
As soon as I put 4 gear in, it just blew, you know. Massive noise in the gearbox. Finished. Seems to hit us at the moment.
Back at the front in his HTML Pontiac, the ever-slow starting Darren Turner once again had to do the chasing. He caught and passed the faster starting Darren Manning and claimed another victory. In the championship, the retirement for Minassian dropped him 2 places to 5th. But with 175 for a win and 7 rounds to go, it's really anybody's championship still. Although he's not even in the top 10, 5 victories in the previous 6 races for Darren Turner in the number 69 HTML Pontiac was causing controversy. People were asking whether the 3 different body shapes in ASCAR were as equal as they are meant to be. The response from the ASCAR officials was to add an extra half-inch to the rear wing of the Pontiac, designed to slow the car down. Let's see if it works. Here's rounds 10, 11, and 12 with Steve Slater.
And it's 3 abreast. John Mickle and Darren Manning going down the inside of it, almost 4 abreast into turn 1. And it's John Mickle running with the advantage. Kelvin Burt then going all the way around the outside. Darren Manning now making his move for second place, but this is the man out in front, number 7, Kelvin Burt.
Yeah, that's a great start there by Kelvin Burt, Steve Slater, and Mickle was the man off the line. He said, let's get on with it. But what about Darren Manning? Boy, it was 5 cars abreast going into that first turn, Steve.
And just look at this, the battle for second, third and fourth. Kelvin Burt is taking advantage of this to run away at the head of the field. John Mickle seems to be struggling with the handling of the 24 car, and that is giving the 2 Darrens, Darren Manning and Darren Turner, a real chance to close in through turn 3.
Yeah, Mickle was good at the start, but now he really is under pressure, and the 67 car does go through. Darren Turner's going to do his best to slide through. Is he going to do it? Yeah, good driving by Mickle. He knows he's got the slower car. He's got to let these 2 guys run through. All the controversy about body shapes, all of that's out the window now. These guys are just racing flat out.
Oh, and what about that? Talk about kissing the wall. And straight away, Darren Turner gets the opportunity to make the move. You can see the Ford go into the rear view mirrors.
And this is Plato putting Mickle down 1 more place, or is he?
ASCAR champion versus British Touring Car champion, and Jason Plato drives straight down the inside. He's followed through by Rob Speake, the reigning world stock car champion with the gold top car. And stock car fans knows what that means. That is the world champion in the number 5 PlayStation machine. Still running right on the tail of Jason Plato. Roland Rayfeld goes through there in the 96 car as well. Now a real big battle on here. The number 84 Deuce Racing car, the car being driven by Derek Hayes, sponsored by the Army, the TA, and Anthony Swan, the local hero from Gretton, lives just over the fence from turn 3, and he is really determined to prove his point here in front of his home crowd, and he does it.
Yeah, great move by Anthony Swan. The West Tech team, of course, did so good in the championship. We got some Darren Manning. This is Steve coming in here. This is an unscheduled stop in the wrong part of the racetrack. Big problems for the 67 car.
And an early pit stop here. This is the first of the routine stops, and it is race leader Kelvin Burt. Darren Turner is in the pits as well. Now, who is going to win the pit stop battle? 3 men only over the wall. Jason Plato also into the pit lane now. The air hammers are working overtime. Darren Turner's on the move, but so is Kelvin Burt, and I reckon Burt's gained an advantage.
Yeah, Burt has got a great stop. These guys are under so much pressure, Steve. Like you say, just only 3 guys over the wall. They've got 5 lug nuts on those, remember. Plato comes out, just nearly takes Nicholas Manassian. It's a wide pit lane here, but it's so tough to get in and out and not collect another car, as we've just seen.
Well, they always want to be in that same bit of garage. Now, this is the man that lost out on the pit stops. Darren Turner's down to 3rd, but not for long. Right up on the tail of Stevie Hodgson, trying to look down the inside on the run to turn 2. And look at the number 6 car. He came in 5th place, came out in 2nd, but he slid back to 3rd.
Yeah, he sure has. And it looked like Stevie Hodgson's car was a little bit loose there. You could see the back end of the car moving. We got a black flag here for the 28 car, a drive-through penalty, as you can read. So we don't know what that's all about. We'll try and come back to you with that, but that's going to do no good at all for the 28 machine.
Oh, and that's not even less good. Steve Hodgson has had a huge accident at turn 4. Now watch him in the car. He's undoing the debris net. That's his signal to the marshals that he is okay. Yellow flags are being waved. He stays in the car, of course, till the medical unit gets there. You don't just jump out of a car on a 170 miles an hour oval. But there is the rear suspension down on the inner wall. And he's gesticulating, put the fire out. This is my car. It's costing me money.
Yeah, Stevie Hodgson, look at this. He's going for the fire extinguisher himself. Yeah, I mean, he's crashed a race car on the wall, and now he's putting the thing out. Stevie Hodgson's had such a tough time recently. This is exactly what he didn't want. I think they're going to manage to solve that. Stevie Hodgson, man, that was a big shunt.
As we get the 2 greens, it's Colin Whitebow that's the man on the move. Darren Turner, not for the first time, is asleep and then has to make his move again to get back into that second place. But look at the battle for third. It's the number 12 car, Mark Proctor, the number 96 Chicago pneumatic car, all going wheel to wheel with Colin White. Absolutely fantastic.
Wow, Colin White was so aggressive up the inside, but he overcooked it, Steve, didn't he? Darren Turner had to let him go by, but then slid up the inside, and I'm sure he touched the back end of Colin White's car. Mark Proctor, the doctor, was aggressive too. Great restart.
Oh, and Derek Hayes, look at him storming up on the tail there of Anthony Swan and the number 5 car of Rob Speake. And Rob Speake goes wide this time. Anthony Swan just dives down the inside. Maybe Rob Speake has a bit of a tyre issue now. And ahead of them, there's another battle brewing as well. But this is the battle between 84 Derek Hayes in the Army car, the PlayStation number 5 car of the reigning stock car world champion, Rob Speake. And Rob Speake has never done anything like this on the short ovals. Now Darren Turner chasing Calvin Burton again. Listen to the throttle. Only just lifting through turn 2 at 170 miles an hour. And just look at this, a real battle going on, and Mark Proctor runs right up wide. The smoke from Proctor's car there. I think he could have kissed the wall. Nicholas Minassian and the 24 car of John Mickle are closing in as well. Meanwhile, on the other side of the circuit, this is the battle for the lead. You don't know where to look next.
No, absolutely. Calvin Bird, he's such a cool customer. Turner's all over him, though. This is lap 50 of 60, only 10 laps to go. He's got to put him under pressure. Bird is cool, but right now you can't be cool if you've got that machine tucked right in behind you.
Well, 10 laps at 35 or 40 seconds maximum a lap. And just listen to Turner. Absolutely with his foot nailed to the floor. That is amazing. I tell you what, John Mickle's making a bit of a move here now. He's on his second set of tyres after that pit stop, and that seems to have restored the handling of the 24 car. He is coming back up on Anthony Swan for 8th place. Goes down the inside of Swan. 2 locally based drivers here at Rockingham. John Mickle gets the applause from the crowd. He goes ahead of Swan. Now it's the 84 car of Derek Hayes trying desperately to find his way past the Texaco machine as well. Great 4-car scrap because Rob Speake's joining in as well.
Yeah, he sure is. And we got a 4-car battle here. As you say, if you give a good car to John Mickle, if he's got the right set of tires on there, he can drive the wheels off the thing. And right now, that's what he's doing. Look at this. The number 28 machine's tucking in behind him. It's a great battle between him and the 84 of Derek Hayes. And now it's just battles to the end of this race.
Well, Derek Hayes has been driving absolutely brilliant. Don't forget, this is just his second weekend of racing. Oh, and what did I say? Derek Hayes has just made a mistake and kissed the wall. And that is
kissed the wall, Steve. Kissed the wall. He smacked into it. But look at that. He kept his foot flat down.
Calvin Burt is on lap 60 of this race. Meanwhile, it's wheel to wheel between the 76 car of Jason Plato, the 96 car, the Chicago pneumatic car of the German Roland Rehfeld. They're having a battle all the way to the checker. And at the moment, Jason Plato has the advantage, that 4th place and the vitally needed championship points. But ahead of him, Colin White is heading home in 3rd place. In 2nd place is Darren Turner, and he is chasing Calvin Burt, who takes his first victory of the ASCAR season here at Rockingham.
That was easy. The car was absolutely fantastic, and I could drive every lap like a qualifying lap. The tyres never went off. What more can I do? What more can I say? The car was magic.
The car's all holding formation. It's a case now of watching Big Mac, Andy McLeod, the flagman, and he's given the green flag. It's all clear for round 11 at Rockingham, and it's Calvin Burt down the inside into turn 1. Good start from Jason Plato. He tucks in behind Darren Turner. It's 3 abreast now. Plato runs up to the wall. It's the German Roland Rehfeld goes inside him. This is a great move by the German driver, straight down the inside of Jason Plato.
Oh, yeah, good move there by Rehfeld. As you say, Plato made a good start, but Manassian's getting him in the front 2. Just got such a run. Long, long way to go here, but what a start by those front 2.
And just look who is beside Colin White. Number 67, that is Darren Manning in the RAC Auto Windscreens car, way up from the back of the grid, and he's already there chasing the lead group. Brilliant start.
Boy, oh boy, look at these guys at the front, Steve. Rehfeld looks like he's very, very much on a move, and White just keeps ahead of Plato there. But here we are. This is the battle. It's Darren Turner and it's Calvin Burt.
Well, Calvin Burt being chased by Darren Turner. Oh, and Calvin Burt's car looking very loose there through turn 2, right up to the wall. Well, there is Jason Plato now in the lead group, and somebody's in trouble, dropping down on the inside, and everything's getting bottled up behind him. That's John Stewart in all sorts of trouble. Looks like a dead engine for Stewart, coasting for pit lane. And, whoa, Darren Manning there, battling with John Mickle, and Darren Manning really closing the door hard.
Well, Manning's aggressive at the start. Talk about aggressive. Look at this. Mickle's going to head towards the wall.
Oh, and that is a huge, huge hit. And the number 5 car of Rob Street was trying down the inside. I don't think there was contact between them, though. Well, boy, oh boy, am I glad to see that. John Mickle climbing out of the car there. It's Kelvin Burt in the pink machine ahead of Darren Turner, then the German Roland Rehfeld as they make the run for the line. And very aggressive Rehfeld right down on the inner apron, holding off Nicola Manassian and going down the inside of Darren Turner, but he can't hold it. It's Turner still in second place. Around the outside comes Colin White, though. He is up into second. Turner is down into third, but Kelvin Burt is making a break for it at the front.
Woohoo! That was some aggressive stuff at the start there, Steve. Rehfeld is really proven to be a good starter. I mean, he hasn't got the positions he'd like to. And Kelvin Burt managed to get away, but Darren Turner did a lousy start, and he was having to be so defensive. Look at Colin White on the move, though. We got a yellow out here.
And we understand that it's actually some fluid or some debris down on the inside of turn 2. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Darren Manning ahead of Colin White, but at the head of the field it's Kelvin Burt from Darren Turner, and look at Roland Rehfeld trying a hot start again. So does Nicholas Manassian. It's the battle for 4th down into turn 1. Darren Manning tucks in 3rd place behind Darren Turner, but it's Kelvin Burt at the head of the field side by side as Colin White and Nicholas Manassian bear down to turn 2.
Oh, and White puts the move on the Frenchman, goes up the inside. Again, Rehfeld had a good run, but again, he was blocked by having a whole bunch of ASCAR machines right across the middle of that racetrack. He couldn't get by, but look at these two guys. We love the battle of the two Darrens, and here they are again.
Well, yes, Darren Turner in the number 69, the Pontiac, run by the HTML team from Northampton. Then it's the RAC Auto Windscreens car, Bitcliffe Sport. And just look at that, is really rubbing pain, because Darren Manning had to go into defence mode there to hold Colin White behind him. They both lost momentum, though, and this could be the chance for Nicholas Manassian to get out of the draft. Get down the inside. No, he doesn't. This time it's Roland Rehfeld at the back. Colin White moves up to the head of that group. And Darren Manning's getting hung out to dry right up against the wall. He is having to defend like crazy.
Wow, this is from the back of the number 8 machine of Manassian, and look at that. White is all over in the 78 CWS car, having a good run. Rehfeld's thinking about getting a run, and here we are. Good battles. We've seen battles with Manassian and White this year, and it continues. Rehfeld getting a great run on both of them. And look at it. Oh, and the 48 car there of Kevin McGarity is putting a move up to the inside of Jason Plato, and Plato has got some kind of problem. He is going backwards here big time.
I think Jason Plato's got some kind of a handling problem. He's quick down the straights, and Jason Plato is as brave as anybody out there, but he came right off the gas there. These two drivers having their own personal battle, the two teammates in the Juice Racing team. The 48 car, don't forget, is crewed by the US Air Force, the 48th Tactical Fighter Wing from Lakenheath. The 84 car is crewed by the Territorial Army. There's no love lost between these two teams.
Yeah, they're getting fisticuffs down there in pit lane sometime, but Plato must have an evil handling race car to be swamped by those two. Talk about being swamped. Look at the 69 car charging down our leader.
This is the battle for 3rd and 4th places. Manassian's car wobbling and bouncing in the slipstream there. This is fantastic ASCAR racing into the closing stages at Rockingham. It's still Kelvin Burt and Darren Turner at the front, but it's going to be Nicholas Manassian making his bid for the podium. Absolutely brilliant.
Wow, look at Manassian. He does. He pulls it through. Colin White was defending as much as he could, but can Darren Turner take the win? I don't think so.
No, I don't either. The flag is already waving. There it is, waving for Kelvin Burt and for Darren Turner. Nicholas Manassian, a fantastic 3rd place on the very last lap of the race.
A quick pit visit forces Jason Plato to start round 12 from the back. He's already charging through, though, as we go back to commentary with Steve Slater.
This is the guy making the moves up through the back, Jason Plato. He's going like his trousers are on fire.
Well, my trousers are on fire, your trousers are on fire, so that makes 3 of us. We've seen after one lap of 60, I don't know where everybody is, but look at Mark Proctor putting a move on the 28 car.
Well, that is the battle for 5th and 6th places. Anthony Swan, the local driver from
Gretton. And look behind them, because there is Jason Plato down the inside of Mark Proctor. And don't forget, Jason Plato has come from last, and he's now fighting for 6th place.
Yeah, Plato is really on the move, and it's such a good battle. Plato, the 76 car, he's got the 48 and the 84 machine tucked in behind him. The Deuce boys are on a roll, Steve.
Oh yeah, Kevin McGarrity and Derek Hayes, both of them pushing very hard indeed.
Oh!
And out and off, McGarrity makes contact. Into the wall goes Jason Plato, and he takes Mark Proctor in there with him. And that was a case of 3 into turn 1, don't go.
Yeah, look at this. McGarrity gets in too hot. You know, Jason Plato just got hit up the backside. Proctor was the innocent bystander, and he smack bang into that hard wall. Bad news for him.
Just look at those 2 cars dragging themselves around. Both of them have got wrecked steering, and look at that tyre smoke from Mark Proctor's car.
Once the race restarted, Kelvin Burt swept to his 3rd consecutive victory, ahead of RML teammate Nicholas Manassian and the ever-present Colin White. Well, it was those 3 victories for Burt in rounds 10, 11, and 12 which propelled him into the championship lead. Good results for White and Manassian, too, kept them close. So, let's hear from Kelvin Burt.
Just perfect, fantastic. I don't know what else to do. It was just brilliant. You can't go better than that, can it? So, car's been exactly the same all the way through the weekend, and that's been spot on. So, makes the job look easy.
Round 13 was on Friday the 13th, supporting the Sherpa Men 500 Champ Car race. Would it be unlucky for anyone? Let's join Steve.
As the green flag is readied up on the gantry, watch Big Mac. Andy McLeod gives the green flag to get the field underway, and it's 5 abreast down into turn 1. The klaxons blare. Kelvin Burt goes around the long way out of turn 1, but it looks to me like Darren Turner could have the run on him up to 2. It's flat out all the way, and Roland Rayfeld, the German driver's going with them.
Yeah, number 69 goes up, and it's right side by side with that number 7 of Kelvin Burt. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wide of the start, but look at Roland Rayfeld. He's flying.
Well, Rayfeld following through from Darren Turner as Kelvin Burt gets hung out to dry right on the outside. It was a great job trying to hold on the long way round there, but Burt loses the advantage now. It's Anthony Swan up into 4th place, Derek Hayes and Kevin McGarrity 4th, 5th and 6th. And that is John Stewart, and what a pity. The Hot Rod World Champion in the wall for the 2nd time in 4 races. Don't forget, he's just fixed that car after a huge accident at the Eurospeedway in Germany. Now let's see what happened. Well, there is the number 11 car of Ben Collins, very close proximity just before he spun. I'm just wondering if there was a little bit of contact there, but luckily John Stewart is okay and climbing out of the car. Half distance in the race, lap 30 of the 60, and the lead cars all into the pit lane. Now, it's the battle of the pit crews. They've got to change 2 right side tyres, don't forget. Roland Rayfeld goes into his pit garage at the far end of the pit lane. There's Darren Turner pulling in. Kelvin Burt in the pink and white car. He has to come all the way down this end of the pit lane before he finds his garage. And this really is now 3 men over the wall, 2 tyres to change, and conventional wheel nuts.
Yeah, look at the top end of your screen. Look at that pink car. That's it, the number 69 machine. The battle for the front, and it's the battle in the pits now. Can the 96 machine, the West Tech crew, do something to get... Yes, look, the 96 car's gone by, Steve.
96 car out ahead of Darren Turner, so Turner has lost the race lead, and Kelvin Burt shoots out of the pit lane. There's Jason Plato on Darren Turner's back bumper, and that means effectively Darren Turner is down to 3rd place, because there is Roland Rayfeld, then it's Kelvin Burt, Darren Turner, Anthony Swan and Jason Plato. So 5 cars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 take to the track. A couple of people have made late pit stops as well, and I'm just wondering where Colin White is in all of this.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, the West Tech boys really did turn that car around very, very fast indeed.
Well, Kevin McGarrity coming out of the pits now. What Roland Rayfeld asked for there, I'm sure, is a clear track, and he's got it. Kelvin Burt's got it. Darren Turner's being squeezed out, and that's lost Darren Turner a little bit of momentum in that 3rd place. And McGarrity had made an instant gamble there. He stayed out another lap before he made his pit stop, and that's got him up into 4th place, ahead of Anthony Swan and Jason Plato. That was a good bit of thinking.
Oh, we got the 11 car here, Ben Collins. We think he may have been involved in that incident with John Stewart earlier in that Fast Tech machine. Second pit stop for him, Steve.
Yep, and yellow flags out, and I think Ben Collins is having a pretty incident-packed day because there's a whole load of grass under the front of the car. Look at them scooping the radiator out there, and, well, he's been sightseeing.
Yeah, he sure has. How the heck did he get down there, Steve? I mean, it's hard to get down on the grass, that part of the racetrack, without hitting some concrete.
Well, that, as you can see, is the inside of turn 4. He's just spun inside down the pit lane.
Oh, look at that. Turner is banging into the back of 96 Rayfeld. I think that's going to cost him, though. He's too tight in behind him. Rayfeld as we go green.
Well, a great piece of driving by Roland Rayfeld. He really controlled the pace there as they came up. No overtaking till that white line, don't forget. And he backed right off to catch Darren Turner wrong-footed. And the other man who was caught there was Kelvin Byrne. That's given the 55 car of Kevin McGarity, who is used to rolling starts.
Turner is up in the wall. The 69 car's gone high, wide, way too handsome. He is out of this thing.
And yellow flags again. Well, it's just as well it's sure for men because that guy is working up a sweat on the flag post. And there is the 69 car. Look at the damage on the front. I reckon that was a burst tyre because that car went out of control. Poor Darren Turner was a 150 miles an hour passenger there on a ride into the wall. And just look behind him as well. This is we ride with Darren Turner. There was a very narrow escape for Derek Hayes. Bang! Into the wall goes Turner. Now watch the right side of his car.
Oh! I can't believe that. You know, I can't believe he managed to put an ASCAR in between that car and the concrete wall. That is miraculous.
Well, the steering is broken on the 69 car. I don't even think he's going to get that back into the pit lane. He knows that that front suspension's wrecked. That's why he's pulled off onto the grass so he doesn't leave oil on the pit lane. Good thinking by Darren Turner. But don't forget, it says Mr. Grumpy on that windscreen pillar for when he's not winning. I don't want to have a word with him after this.
I'll tell you what, I wonder whether he cut a tire himself by smacking into the back of that 96 machine. Here we see him hitting the wall. Take a look on the right-hand side. We'll see that 84 car. Now, his spotter told him to go high, and boy, oh boy, he said, are you kidding me? I'm going to go high if you say so, but there ain't any room out here.
Well, let's ride with Randy Tolsma. 2 places behind Derek Hayes. You look at the top of your screens. There's Darren Turner going into the wall, and Derek Hayes. That was a narrow escape. Now the green flag's waving. It's Kevin McGarity making the challenge with Roland Rayfeld. And McGarity goes right down inside the apron there, but he didn't overtake before the white line, so it should be okay. Roland Rayfeld on the outside. Jason Plato and Nicholas Manassian battling for that third place. It's Manassian that gets it. Derek Hayes tries to follow through as well. It's wheel to wheel. The trading paint for fourth place. Jason Plato just hangs on.
Yeehaw, Steve, I tell you what, Jason Plato was struggling there. He got in good at the start, and then he just got duped up big time.
And again, Roland Rayfeld fights back, passes the limping Kelvin Byrne. He is in trouble. Let's see what happened with Kelvin Byrne, though. And listen to the car's exhaust note. There's something wrong with that car's transmission as they took the green flag.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And look at this. Anthony Swan is tucked in behind him. He's got the car stuck in gear. He literally can't shift it out of gear, and he gets smacked up the back end by the 28.
Well, a narrow escape there for Anthony Swan, and you can see there the lack of speed. Poor Kelvin Byrne jammed in third gear, but these guys are flat out in top gear all the way to the checker flag. Roland Rayfeld closes in again, but looks to me like the Le Mans MG racer Kevin McGarity has this one in the bag, or has he? Rayfeld closes in again. This is the run to the flag, and Kevin McGarity, who crashed last time out, is now the winner of round 13 and the first victory ever for Hodgson Motorsport. A tremendous result for the team and the driver.
3 starts at the end, and what happened?
I passed somebody. I don't really know. You know, there's, I know that there's a rule that you can't pass somebody before the start of the start line. But if you're alongside them, that's okay, and that's what it was. And I knew that, and I was very confident that it was alongside him, but not past him. So everything was okay. But then Roland squeezed me right down onto the inside of the track. So that was a bit hair-raising. But yeah, we got away with it, and we just went around the corner together, and I passed him then at turn 2.
Former World Rally Champion Colin McRae joined the grid for round 14, driving the 67 car, while Darren Manning raced in the Champ car event. Let's see how he did.
Just listen to those big V8 American engines unleash 500 horsepower each. Kelvin Byrne takes the race lead. Manassian trying to squeeze down the inside though of Colin White. It's the man from the West Country right up against the wall. Manassian alongside Darren Turner. Great start there also by Derek Hayes. But look at Manassian, squeezes it down the inside. He's up into second place. It's still wheel to wheel for fourth place though. And it's that 84 car of Derek Hayes. Darren Turner down the inside of it. The German Roland Rehfeld moving up. Jason Plato's tucked right in there as well. And so is Colin McRae.
Whoa, what a start that was from Kelvin Burt. He has just dusted him. He's away, but look at the guys behind him. They're just tooth and nail all over the place. The 55 car, McGarity trying to get up the inside of Plato.
Well, Plato blocks McGarity, but look behind. There's Burt, there's White, there's Manassian, 1, 2, 3. Then it's Roland Rehfeld in fourth place. Darren Turner fifth. Then Derek Hayes, then this huge pack of cars, and Colin McRae, he got a slow start. He's just eased his way past one of the American drivers, number 48. Burton Turner running away at the head of the order at the moment. Great battle on here between the two men from Northern Ireland. 55, Kevin McGarity. 84, Derek Hayes. Behind them, British Touring Car champion Jason Plato just kissed the wall there and scuffed the paintwork on the 76 car. This is fantastic.
Unbelievable. Let's talk a little bit while we can catch our breath for a moment about tactics. These guys, oh, look at that, look at that. These guys are talking to their spotters and talking to their crews, Steve, and they're telling them about what the car handles like so they can make setup changes during the pit stop. It's critical.
Well, you saw the 55 car there just got a little bit of a nudge, move off the racing line and straight away. And just look at this, Colin McRae forcing Roland Rehfeld to really squeeze him down onto the margin. McRae just carried so much speed through turn one. That gave him the run. Now we're riding with Colin McRae. Rehfeld's the man he's targeting. They're both squeezed down the inside of Kevin McGarity, but just look how much more speed he had there.
Fantastic. McGarity, goodbye, up along Roland Rehfeld. Let me just give you a bit of a nudge here. I like this racing stuff. And he's through. This guy, no wonder he's one of the best drivers in the world.
Well, we're seeing the effect of that. And straight away into the pit lane comes the 76 car Plato. And that is 1 and 2 in the race. Plato's aborted his pit stop. Colin McRae squeezes through the gap. Fantastic driving by McRae again. But 1 and 2 in the race. What on earth happened there?
Darren Turner just overcooked it in the pits. Now, if he doesn't have some kind of brake problem, I saw it, Steve. I was looking out there, and it looked like he just came in too hot and bang, right up the back end of Kelvin
Let's have a look
Burt.
there. Watch this. And, well, you know, anybody who's seen that happen on a motorway knows how easy it is to happen, slowing for the pit lane speed. I mean, Jason Plato cut across the grass and rejoined, so he's going to have to come in another lap later. Colin McRae squeezed his car through the gap. Well, there's the 7 car of Kelvin Burt. He's lost the race lead for sure. McRae, I think it's going to be a slow pit stop for him. And that is Kelvin Burt's car with a burst radiator. He is out of the race. Frantic work going on Darren Turner's car as Kelvin Burt takes off the steering wheel and climbs out.
Oh, Kelvin Burt, woo! I would not want to be Darren Turner right now. Baby, this is just hotting up all the time.
Well, there you can see the entire ASCAR field. And Colin McRae, look at the rubber he's just laid in the pit lane. He comes out effectively third at the moment. Roland Rehfeld, Anthony Swan, and Colin McRae steaming up behind them. He really is fired up now. But what on earth happened on the entrance to the pit lane? That is the important thing. Well, we've got Amanda Stretton down in pit lane having a few words with Kelvin Burt.
Bitter disappointment for you there. What happened?
Well, it's fairly obvious what happened. Over the moon, what do you think? He hit the back of me coming into the pits. Darren was going too fast. Just went straight in the back of the car coming into the pits. Spun us round. Broke the radiator.
Well, you can imagine just how bitterly disappointed Kelvin Burt is. The championship lead has probably gone as well. Darren Turner, well, frantic work still going on in his car. Don't forget the cars have to slow to a pit lane speed limit for safety as they come into that pit lane. That's what precipitated all of that. Colin McRae still absolutely flying here as Derek Hayes and Roland Rehfeld go side by side ahead of him. McRae says, I'll have some of that, just slips straight through. Gets the draft there on the back again of his rival, Roland Rehfeld. You know, Rehfeld's driving a fantastic race here just to keep Colin McRae behind him.
He's doing a fantastic job, Steve. Every moment we look at Colin McRae, he's just awesome. We saw him coming out of the pits, and he was so fantastically quick, and he's just continuing in that form.
Well, he most certainly is. Meanwhile, Amanda's in the pit lane with Darren Turner.
Darren, I don't suppose there's any need to ask how that happened.
Just a really stupid mistake. Trying to gain a little bit. We're struggling with the car for the race distance, so I knew pit stop was going to be crucial. And Kelvin came in cautiously and doing a proper job, and I whistled in, got on the brakes, and he just wasn't slowing down. I'm just really, really sorry. It's ruined his Kelvin's race, and he looked really strong for a win, and well, ruined our race, and we could have had a podium. but a very stupid mistake.
Look out for Big Mac on the flag post. There he is, the giant flagman of Rockingham. And look at this, down into turn one, Nicola Manassian, right down the inside the apron. But the 55 car of Kevin McGarity, Rayfeld gets hooked in alongside him, and a spin at 150 miles an hour for the German Roland Rayfeld. McRae moves up a place, and the yellow flag again being waved there. The car's all slowing. There it is, just a kiss down the inside of the 55 car of Kevin McGarity. Rayfeld spins out of turn one, somehow keeps it out of the wall. And if you ever want a masterclass on what to do on a banked oval, that is exactly it with Rayfeld, just letting the car spin down to the inside, not to hit that concrete wall on the outside.
We got the yellow flag again, cars in the pits, and Colin McRae an unscheduled pit stop, so this is bad news for him.
This time it's going to be the dash to the checker, and
Contact! Look at that! Boy, oh boy, Stevie squeezes him out, and that is it! He's toast, he's out, they come together in the biggest possible way! Whoa!
I've never seen a race like this at Rockingham. Forget Colin McRae, these guys are providing the fireworks as well. Colin White tries to cut down on the French driver. The French driver holds his line. The two collide once, twice, three times and slide down the order. And that has really changed the complexion of this race. Kevin McGarity in the 55 car leads Derek Hayes, both the Northern Ireland drivers. And then we have this battle for third. And it's the 11 car, the man from the West Country, Ben Collins, closing in on Anthony Swan. Both the young chargers here in the race. Ben Collins is a rookie as well. This is just his second ASCAR race. Anthony Swan, his first season of Top-Line Motorsport. Let's have a look, though, what happened to the race leaders. Watch the green flag. There's the green lights come on.
Oh.
And already Colin White was diving across the nose of Manassian there. Bam! And that was a big, big hit. But Nicola Manassian is still driving.
I tell you what, Steve, you called it right, and it's rare for me to agree with you. And he just held his line. The Frenchman just said, hey, you're not coming by, buddy. Colin White pulled down on him, and boy, oh boy.
Well, there's the big hit, the third and final of those impacts. And Colin White's arms going like a windmill in that car to keep control. Meanwhile, Colin McRae still battling with number 12, Mark Proctor, the man from Driffield in East Yorkshire. They are closing in on Anthony Swan in that number 28 Texaco car. But look at this. Colin McRae is staying with him. He is not letting him through. And McRae is driving right up on the wall there. That is actually kissing the wall at 150 miles an hour.
Unbelievable. We're standing up here, we're bowing, because he is just one of the best drivers around.
This on the way to the checkered flag. Kevin McGarity is taking victory.
To have 2 in 1 weekends, fantastic. You know, the race was totally just like yesterday, just a total strategy game, and the car wasn't too good after the pit stop, but it took a couple of laps to come in, so after every yellow it wasn't too quick for the first couple of laps, but she was good.
It wasn't so good for Kelvin Burt, taken out here by Darren Turner, or with the classic Colin White and Nicholas Manassian. Despite those problems, they remain first and second and third in the points with just 2 races to go. Two new faces on the ASCAR podium as Ben Collins and Derek Hayes join Kevin McGarity celebrating his second win in a row. It wasn't to be a hat trick for Kevin McGarity in round 15 after this early brush with the wall. As we see from Matt Neal's onboard, Kevin just spins on his own. Matt's lucky to avoid rhyming Jason Plato. Matt isn't so lucky a few laps later. The ASCAR debutante has a huge spin coming out of turn number 2, thankfully avoiding hard contact with the wall. There's more trouble, though, at the restart when Darren Turner rams leader Kelvin Burt from behind. The replay shows that Burt slows up just before the line, leaving Turner nowhere to go. Listen to the engine note. Kelvin slows up when he misses the gear change, and the collision leaves him stuck in gear. Well, a quick check in the pits by the ASCAR officials and his crew see Kelvin rejoin the race. But as we join the race in the middle of the pit stop window, it's the 76 car in the lead.
Plato comes down through turn 1, and there's the rest of the pack all heading back out as well. Don't forget, you have to hold that pit lane speed limit. We're riding with Kelvin Burt, and that pit stop has brought Kelvin Burt back out right on the tail of his championship rival, Colin White. Oh, and going around the outside, that's Darren Turner, and there is Nicholas Manassian. So it's Turner and Manassian ahead of White and Rayfeld. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I can't wait. This is just building up to such a crescendo, Steve. Out on the track, in the pits, the guys, you could just feel the tension here at Rockingham, because this is all to ride. The penultimate round of the championship, everything to play for.
Well, Jason Plato, the leader, Roland Rayfeld in second place. Stevie Hodgson, fantastic pit stop, brings him out in third, ahead of Turner, Manassian, and look at this battle. They're going down the inside there of the Mongoose car. Paul Shirt goes a lap down, but this is all eyes on this. Kelvin Burt trying to find his way past Colin White, gets his nose alongside in the run into turn. Oh, and that is what you'd call a chop.
These guys, yeah, very much so. Colin White's a tough guy. Kelvin Burt's pretty tough too. And look at that, Burt right down on the apron.
I don't think I've ever seen oval racing down on the apron before. That was amazing.
We get a look on board now with Kelvin down and through there. Look at him, he's so determined. This is close stuff.
And just watch how close he got to the wall there on the outside of 2 as well. Now we're back to real time. Kelvin Burt is a little bit slower this time through 2 and still running very wide indeed.
Sure.
And let's have a look now, right on the tail of Colin White again, heading up to turn 4. Now you can see Kelvin's having to put a lot of input into the car here, uses more track. Colin White is holding a tight line. Oh, and Kelvin Burt kisses the wall again. Kelvin Burt's actually leaning that car on the wall. You can see the scuff marks in the paintwork now. And that really is quite something. But this is where Kelvin seems to have the advantage. Down through turn 1 and accelerating down into 4. Meanwhile, Roland Rayfeld, Jason Plato, this is the battle for the race lead. You know, that German driver, Roland Rayfeld, in that Chicago pneumatic Ford, is closing in on Jason Plato in the Pontiac again.
Yeah, he is closing in on him. Both of these guys have earned a win this year. They haven't taken a win. Both of these guys have been quick. Both of these guys are desperate in the last couple of races to get on the top step of that podium.
Now, there's the top 5 places. It's right behind them, of course, that battle with Colin White and Kelvin Burt is going on. It's Colin White in 5th place, Kelvin Burt in 6th. There they are, still going hammer and tongs. And don't forget, this could be the destiny of the championship, because they are 2nd and 1st, respectively, in the championship with these 2 races still to go.
Absolutely. Look at these guys. Burt is doing everything he can to get by. Colin White is doing everything he can, calling on all of his experience to keep Kelvin Burt behind.
This. Race leader, Jason Plato, loses a bit of momentum, and straight away, Roland Rayfeld has a fantastic setup in that Westech prepared Ford. The Pontiac's supposed to be more aerodynamically slippy. Not this time round. Rayfeld takes the race lead. This is the battle still on for 6th place. Colin White and Kelvin Burt, and that's the battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th. It's all happening.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Now Kelvin Burt still there in 7th place. Colin White in 6th. Colin White there just a little bit quicker into turn 1 this time, but straight away Kelvin Burt's carrying the speed better. This is where he's got the advantage. Gets his nose down the inside. That's where Colin White cut him off. Oh! And contact and up into the wall. Both the cars have taken huge hits down into turn 2. Colin White is stationary on the outside. Yellow flags are being waved, and Kelvin Burt is down on the apron behind those tyres. Both of the 1-2 in the championship are out. The debris net drops. That's a sign to the marshals. Colin White is okay,
wow,
but his car isn't. Let's have another look at on another angle. You know, he gets spun there, just tips the nose of Kelvin Burt's car. I'm not going to say which driver was to blame, but that was a massive hit. And the fact that both drivers are out of those cars okay is a tremendous testimony again to the strength of an ASCAR. And another car involved in all of that as well. That is Rob Speake, the world stock car champion, and his car, I think, has hit the debris from the accident.
Yeah, we take a look at this here, Steve, and we can see that he just picks up some debris, and just watch this now. Boom! He gets a cut tire, the cut tire explodes, and that destroys the right front corner of that car.
Well, Kelvin Burt and Colin White sitting like a pair of bookends. But let's have another look at this. Kelvin Burt there had the run down into turn 2. Now, was that Colin White on the outside closing the door, or was that Kelvin giving him a kiss? I'm not brave enough to say.
Yeah, Steve, well, I'm going to sit up here in the comms booth with you and just sit right firmly on that fence, because it's just a tough one to call. You know, these guys are racing. Here we see Colin White. Remember, he doesn't have any door mirrors, folks. He's just got his rear view mirror. He doesn't have a spotter. He comes down on it. I don't think he intended that to happen at all. But boy, oh boy, what a result. What a situation in the championship.
Well, don't forget, that is the destiny of the championship may be set as the green flags go for turn 2. Manassian comes out ahead. Fantastic driving. And just look at Stevie Hodgson and Mark Proctor. They're wheel to wheel right behind as well. I don't think I've ever seen a restart like that.
Yeehaw! 3 wide into turn number 1. I just love it. I tell you, just when you think it's getting better and better, these guys just give us more and more action.
And Jason Plato's got all sorts of handling problems. You can see his car swirling and wriggling there. The number 6 car of Stevie Hodgson, a great race for the Yorkshireman. He is right up there with the British Touring Car Champion, and he's looking for a way past.
He sure is. I tell you what, Steve, I said at the top of the show I really wanted to see one of these two guys get a win at the last couple rounds of the championship. I don't know. Jason Plato does not have the car underneath him right now. That is a shame. Stevie Hodgson, maybe.
Well, look at this, Nicola Manassian, fastest man on track, but he's running out of time on the run to the checkered flag because it's Roland Rayfeld. He's going to take his first victory in ASCAR. Fantastic run. And just an contact. Plato does 100 miles an hour plus backwards across the line. Hodgson up into the wall, and another car off down on the right side of our screens. That is Mark Proctor, got hooked up in all of that.
Thankfully, all those involved in those crashes were okay, but this is the result of the top two colliding with each other. They've let Nicholas Manassian take the lead in the championship. One race to go, and any of these 4 could be the champion. Here it is, the championship decider.
The cars come up for the green flag. Big Mac, Andy McLeod, waves the green flag. And the final round of ASCAR is go. What a start from Darren Turner down the inside, but Manassian says, mon Dieu, no, I'm not doing that. He's back up into the lead. Great start, though, from Turner, right on the tail of Nicolas Manassian. And just look back at the battle for third.
Steve French coming out at the start of the race. I just can't believe it. Talk about a Frenchman leading this thing. That was a great start. Good run there by Plato around the outside and Turner up the inside.
And just look at this Brandon Witt, the young American driver with the Stars and Stripes flag on his car. John Stewart, the veteran. Kelvin Burt, though, is roll. Look at this. Brandon Witt loses it up at turn 4 and bang into the wall. Now that guy is one of the stars of the Southwest Tour down in California and Arizona. He will not be happy to have that Unity car. Carries the Stars and Stripes flag, and there's an oil flag out as well. There's fluid coming out of that car. That's going to be a big cleanup, and already the lights of the emergency vehicles are reflecting. You can see young Brandon there, left side of the car, talking to the crew, thumbs up. Well, let's have another look at that. Brandon Witt on the outside there. Yeah. Just gets a little bit of a kiss from the 75 car of John Stewart. Bang into the wall. Well, he's okay. The car designed to take that kind of a hit, but he's not going anywhere else. Let's take another look at this now from the number 5 car of Rob Speake. He's trying to get around the outside of Kelvin Burt. He moves down to the inside. John Stewart starts to move up. There's the contact. Colin White in that 68 car is into the pits and effectively out of contention. Manassian from Darren Turner, Roland Rayfeld and Jason Plato as the green flag is waved. The white car there of Stevie Hodgson making a good start again, but at the head of the order, just look at that gap already. Nicolas Manassian running very quick. Darren Turner had to come off the gas there, nearly pushed up into the wall. Roland Rayfeld has a chance. Jason Plato and Stevie Hodgson, they are fighting for 4th and 5th places, but just look at this. 2nd and 3rd places. Roland Rayfeld really is on a charge.
Absolutely. Manassian wants to win this championship in style, but let's not forget, folks, do not move from your seat. The championship is not over yet. Plato needs to get by these two guys. Burr is still moving up, and I'll tell you what, I wouldn't count out Colin White.
Well, I wouldn't count out Colin White or Kelvin Burt, because just look where Kelvin Burt is. He is already from the back of the field, right on this straight. There he is, number 7 car, trying to get around the outside of Mark Proctor, and a car moving very slowly, heading for the apron. That is the 84 car of Derek Hayes. Kelvin Burt still on his charge. We're riding with him now. That's the number 6 car of Stevie Hodgson, the man who has worked for Richard Petty in the United States. He knows all about setting up these oval race cars. And Stevie Hodgson, whoa, he may know a bit about it, but Kelvin Burt, that is inspired.
That was a great move, Steve. We were talking about Stevie Hodgson. I just didn't think Burt wasn't going to be able to get by, and he just flew by here. Look at Matt Neal putting a move on it. Must be a problem now with Hodgson's car, because it looked quick, and then boom, all of a sudden.
Well, all of a sudden, he had to come off the gas because Kelvin Burt was in the way. And a problem for Jason Plato. He stalls the engine, and it needs a push start, and that's lost him vitally needed seconds. you know, that pit stop could easily have cost Jason Plato any chance of the championship.
Yeah, absolutely, Steve. Manassian now the championship leader. He comes down on pit road. Watch the RML guys go over the wall.
Let me interrupt you here. Watch the pink car as well. He's going to come in front of Manassian. That's Kelvin Burt, his teammate, and that's going to be a more difficult departure for Manassian. Meanwhile, Darren Turner already out on track, and that timing of that pit stop by HTML was fantastic. But now, and that is what happens in a crowded pit lane. As Mark Proctor headed for the pits, Manassian was determined he was coming out. He had to go around the back of Kelvin Burt. But look where Manassian is. He's left the pit lane. Crossing the line now is Darren Turner. Meanwhile, the number 7 car of Kelvin Burt is tucked in behind the number 5 car of Rob Speak as he leaves the pit lane. So he's going to have to make up track positions on track. But that pit stop by Manassian and that aggressive departure, talk about aggressive departures there. That means that Manassian has opened up a few more seconds over Darren Turner. There is Turner right behind. Rayfeld still there in that 3rd place as we ride now with Rob Speak. And just look at the gap. Already Kelvin Burt has opened up, and that's the outlap on cold tyres out of the pit. The pace of this man, Nicola Manassian, isn't just the inspiration of the driver. It is the hard perspiration of that RML team, the guys from Wellingborough. Plenty of racing still going on. Poor old Colin White. Just feel sorry with him. He's still going around trying to get championship points, but you can see there that 68 car just doesn't have the pace. Nicola Manassian moves out of the draft now. Doesn't quite get a gap down the inside this time, but you know, Nicola, just look at that though. This has all of a sudden brought the race to life because Darren Turner, well, they said Nicola doesn't need to win the race to be champion. Darren Turner, though, will be more than happy to take advantage of that because Darren Turner has taken the race lead with just 25 laps to go. But Nicola Manassian now, 2,540 points. That is 42 ahead of Kelvin Burt, and there is debris on the track. There you can see the oil flag being shown. It looks like there's fluid.
No, I think, Steve, yeah, you were right first time. He's picking up some debris off the track, and, of course, that's so important because if he cuts a tire, you're in the wall big time.
Roland Rayfeld down the inside of Nicola Manassian. And Manassian, don't forget, he's thinking about those championship points, but it's Jason Plato. Don't forget, Plato, too, still has a chance of championship points here. But Rayfeld going wheel to wheel with Manassian. Manassian says, OK, I'm going to settle for 3rd place this time round. So it's Roland Rayfeld, winner of the last race, tucked onto the tail now of Darren Turner. But look behind Jason Plato. What a start for Kelvin Burt. He is right up in 5th place now, right on the rear airfoil of Jason Plato's car.
That's right. He wants to come in. He wants to get ahead of Manassian, still wants to take the championship. Manassian was so loose coming off of that last turn. Remember, we saw some debris on the track earlier. He could still cut a tire. He could still lose this race. Any of these guys could go in the wall at any moment.
And just look at this, Anthony Swan and Kelvin Burt. And don't forget, Kelvin was really aggressive early in this stint. There's the difference in championship points. Just 5 points between Burt and Plato. Guess what? If Kelvin Burt loses these positions, he is going to lose the points of Jason Plato. It's going to go right down to the line. And Anthony Swan, young man, literally from just the other side of that wall in Gretton Village. This is his home track, absolutely the home hero, number 28 there. And he really is keen. You know, the season is getting to an end. This summer has come to an end here. The evenings are drawing in. You can see now that lovely sunset light. You know, the sun is literally going down on the 2002 ASCAR Championship. Well, there you can see the tension on Phil Barker's face. In fact, it's almost emotion. There's tears running down his cheeks. Phil Barker, it's a special moment for him. In the first season for RML in ASCAR, their man is going to be champion. It's all down to the checkered flag though. Darren Turner, Roland Rayfeld, final corner, final lap, final race of the season. Can Darren Turner hold on?
Wow, Darren Turner takes that win. Rayfeld pushes him every inch, and Manassian is the champion.
Well, absolute delight for the RML team, and that has been hard-earned. Big, tall Ray Mallock there gets the congratulations of the team.
And, you know, it's funny racing this. You can never think about anything. You have to just get on with it and try to be clean and to be quick. And that we was this weekend, you know, clean, consistent, quick, and no mistake, just hang in there.
Confirmation then that Nicholas Manassian is 2002 ASCAR champion ahead of teammate Kelvin Burt and Jason Plato. Longtime leader Colin White slips to 4th, and a late run of form sees Roland Rayfeld finish in 5th. Further down, last year's champion John Mickle slips out of the top 10 after missing the last few races of the year. So it's a celebration for Darren Turner, Roland Rayfeld, and Nicolas Manassian as the Frenchman takes his first ever championship title. So that was how the 2002 ASCAR Championship was decided. Now, as an extra bonus, we're going to bring you more thrilling onboard action from the season. There's no commentary from us, it's just the sounds of the engine, the tires, and sometimes the wall.
Obrigado, meu pai.